Next up, we have factoring three-term polynomials. So I know that we've done a lot of these before, but I wanted to throw in a little bit of a different example. Notice this one has x to the fourth minus 12x squared minus 64. So you can do it using guess and check, but just remember that if you have an x to the fourth as your first term and an x squared in your middle term, your final answer in order to make sense would have to be x squared times x squared. So if you want to use guess and check, go for it. If you're not super good at guess and check, we can always use grouping, which is what I'm going to show you guys how to do. So remember, you need to multiply your a times your c term, which would be negative 64, and then we're trying to add two numbers to give us a negative 12. Well, I know if I choose 4 and 16, that would give me 64. And then if I apply the negative to the 16, that will give me a negative 12 when I add 4 and negative 16. Grouping says break up the middle term, rewrite everything else. So x to the fourth plus 4x squared. Be sure you encompass this squared because it is there. And then minus 16x squared minus 64. Grouping means we group the first two, group the second two, look at your first one, say, what can I factor out? This time I can take out an x squared. I'm left with x squared plus 4. The second one, remember guys, when this is a negative, take out that negative as well. I can take out a negative 16, and I'm left with x squared plus 4. When you're doing grouping, these guys should always be the same, so cancel those out and write it once because you're factoring it out. And then we have left over an x squared minus 16. I'm like, cool, I'm done. We're not done. We know that we have an x squared minus 16. We're like, hey, that's a difference of squares. My a value is x, my b value is 4. So go one more step. X squared plus 4 stays the same because that is prime. This guy factors into x plus 4 times x minus 4. And then I'm like, am I done? I'm done. Okay, so that is your final answer there. So don't get thrown off whenever you guys see something other than an x squared here. Use grouping if you don't know how to do the guess and check. Either method is totally fine. And then at the very end, make sure if you have pulled out a greatest common factor, you have put that in there and you're asking yourselves, are you done or can you go one step further? All right, there is your three-term polynomial factoring.